go. Okay, we are live. Beautiful. So today I am being joined by the beautiful Claudia from Peony Flora. Welcome, Claudia. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So today we're going to have a bit of a chat about Claudia's business and also why she said yes to becoming a part of Phoenix Rising, which is the current multi-author book project that I have going with my publishing company at the moment. So I'm just going to give Claudia a little bit of an introduction so you know who she is and how she serves. So this is Claudia Milbourne. She is the founder and principal naturopath at Peony Flora, which is a Brisbane-based in-person and online women's health clinic. She is a qualified women's health naturopath, and she's also a feminine embodiment coach. As a qualified women's health naturopath, herbalist, and feminine embodiment coach, she is passionate about supporting, educating, and empowering women to achieve health and become the best version of themselves. She's originally from Brazil and has also lived in the USA and now here in Australia. So she brings a global experience into her work and her life, drawing on a wide cultural understanding, in addition to communicating fluently both in English and Portuguese, which is really cool. As a feminine embodiment coach and bringing the mind and body connection to the forefront, she's interested in exploring not only the person as a whole and treating the cause of health problems, but also interested in understanding what you eat, how you move, and what you think about. When not in her clinic and researching new health solutions for her clients, she can be found walking along the beach or the river and cuddled at home with a cup of tea and a relaxing craft project in hand. I have seen on her Instagram that she knits the most amazing jumpers. And I want one. So welcome, Claudia. Thank you so much. Tell me a little bit about your business and kind of how you got to doing what you do today, your journey.
Yeah, so we'll go through a pretty big summary because it's a long story, and that's why the book project is coming into play.
Yes, give us a teaser. Yeah,
we'll give you a bit of a summarized version of the story. So, yeah, I came from a very inspired health approach as a child. I was back in Brazil, grew up very, very exposed to health and wellness with my grandfather, who was a doctor. And he did a lot of cardiothoracic surgeries and was always thinking about his patients and his surgeries. And I remember him projecting slides on the walls at home and everything. And that really inspired me as far as his passion for health and his passion for his work, and really doing that for love and care. And it wasn't just a job. And I was on that path of thinking I was going to be a doctor. And I did a biomed high school pathway until I figured I was a bit too squeamish.
Sorry, I thought my phone was on silent. How rude. Okay. How rude. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I worked out that at the time, I was only 17 and wasn't making very, very clear decisions at that time. But I thought, oh, this is not for me. I really love health and I really love medicine, but I don't want to go through all the squeamish stuff in med school and the surgery and everything. So I backed out, took a very huge detour, studied IT at the time, which was something that was booming. I was good at. There were lots of job opportunities. I don't regret it a bit. I ended up doing a lot of different things and traveling the world and being exposed to a very interesting business pathway. And moved, had my children, lived in America, moved to Australia. And at one point here in Australia, I had a health crisis, which led me to find some help. And along a very big journey with the conventional pathway, I stumbled upon naturopathy. And it was a naturopath at the time that treated me, helped me get back on track. And while I was under treatment, I wasn't really thinking through the whole process. I was just kind of following instructions and tagging along. And when I got to the end and I reflected on where I was when I started and where I ended up at that point, I had this light bulb moment that what she was doing with me all along was medicine without the surgery. And that's what I wanted to do. So I enrolled in my course and started this process. So now I see women and their partners and family members here in Brisbane face to face, and online as well. So I see clients all over the world and interstate and whatnot through an online platform for my clinic.
Beautiful, wonderful. What a journey, hey? So tell me then, when I approached you about this Phoenix Rising book project, what kind of spoke to you about this project? What intrigued you enough, and why did you say yes?
There are a lot of bits to it. At the time we had the first chat, it was a very, very clear message that was what was supposed to happen at that time. Going back and reflecting, I think there was an element of business, yes, to expose my business to be more in the forefront and have more tools under my tool belt as far as being a clinician, being a speaker, educator, and then writer as well. So there was that aspect of wanting to do that. And I've always had a project in mind of writing a book. I just didn't know how to start it and how big it was going to get. And it was very overwhelming to think, how do you write a whole book? And when I got the opportunity to be part of a project with guidance and do a chapter, which is, learning how this process works, business-wise, for me, that was a full yes.
Yeah.
And then personally, what drew me to this opportunity was the evolution of my career path, being more aware of mind-body wellness, and having gone from naturopathy to study feminine embodiment and as well, and bringing it all together. And I remember that when I was going through the feminine embodiment training, I was not only being trained to be a coach, but I was doing so much work personally. There was a huge component of personal development for us to work on ourselves, to then work with clients, that I thought, personally, this is a really interesting journey to tell your story, to reflect on it, draw a lot of elements to the table. And having a big birthday come up this year, because I'm turning in July, I thought that was a fantastic time to kind of regroup and tell the story a little bit and share. And initially, I think, we think telling our story is, not something that's good to think about, and it's self-indulgent or, egocentric. But then I sat back and I thought, I love listening to other women's stories. I love hearing inspiration and finding connections and points in common, that I thought, why not? If I can share a little bit of what I've learned or what I've gone through and connect with anyone at any level, that would be a beautiful experience. So I guess the answer is, personally, professionally, and connection-wise, when we spoke, for me, I just had that feeling. It was a full body yes. But
trusting that intuition, absolutely. And I just want to touch on a few things that you said as well. So firstly, that a multi-author book project is an amazing way to kind of test the waters and hone your message and connect with your own storytelling voice, so that when it does come time to birth your solo book, that you've kind of had a little bit of a test run and it's not suddenly so overwhelming and scary, right? And solo books are something that I work with authors on as well. So it's definitely a process, it's definitely a journey, but with guidance and someone experienced by your side, it can be such an enjoyable and cathartic process. And the other thing is that you're absolutely right. We're so conditioned to not speak about ourselves and don't share your story, because what if someone thinks, I've got a big head and things like that. But I think that that's one of the reasons that our society is so disconnected, right? That we're all suffering so much. It's because nobody is actually communicating anymore. Everybody's talking and it's so damn noisy, but nobody's actually communicating and telling those real stories and being real people, you know, because we're so worried about what people are thinking and doing and going to say if we say X, Y, and Z and we show up as our true selves, right? But that's the way it used to be, like in community and villages, you know, way back when things were simpler. That's the only way we learned. It's the only way we communicated. We didn't have text messages and messenger where tone of voice could be misconstrued and all that sort of a thing. And people were used to saying what they meant, right? Or asking for what they wanted. Instead, we've now got this toned down way of being, and it's the worst. Like, I think that we all need to, you know, speak up more, share more, because in your sharing, someone else can find inspiration, they can find healing, they can find connection, they can find wisdom. And, you know, and then they can pass that on. And that's how we all heal together as a collective. It's by, you know, sharing those sorts of a thing.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense. I love going on my passionate rants.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so are there any specific goals, Claudia, that you hope to get as being a part of this project? So, you know, some examples of being parts of multi-author projects, people have been able to raise their prices. They've been able to get more PR, so becoming, you know, guests at speaking events and podcasts, or, you know, just solidifying themselves as an expert in their industry. Or is it like, yes, please to all of that and more?
Yeah, I think that's definitely in play. For me, I found that a great part of launching my clinic and taking off has been having a very clear brand and idea of how you want to portray yourself. How do you show up in the world? How do you connect with your clients? And I've stuck to being myself. So in my social media, I'm myself. I do what I do on my own. I write what I feel. I write about what I like to do, and I'm there. So that's what I did. And I think through this process of the book, that just opens up more avenues. So looking at growing from the clinic model of one-to-one to the one-to-many, to potentially developing a course and being exposed to a wider audience, that would be fantastic. So that's
amazing.
from the side, yeah. And then I think the experience of connecting with the other amazing women that are going to be in this journey together, I think it's very powerful what we can do when we get connected and we develop a strong relationship. So I'm looking forward to getting to know all the other ladies that are in the project as well.
Yeah, we've got some amazing women with us so far, and we've actually got a few spots left. So if anyone is listening to this or watching back on the replay, if you are interested in, you know, hearing more about this project, becoming a best-selling author on Amazon and growing your business and using this book as a strategic marketing tool, then please send me a message and get in touch, because we do have a few more spots to welcome some more amazing women into our space. And thank you very much for being with me today, Claudia. And I will be speaking to you inside the Authors Inner Circle. And I bet people listening can't wait to read your story inside Phoenix Rising.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.